I'm Jack and I'm doing a film review of The Giver. The Giver was released to theaters on August 21st, 2014, over 20 years after the award-winning original book that was released in 1993. This movie has exceeded its movie budget of $25 million while it was in the box office, recouping $67 million. This 100-minute fantasy drama film adaptation takes place in the unnamed futuristic utopian community that goes by strict rules to keep their community running smoothly and keeping everybody happy. However, in this community, there are some questionable things going on, such as forced marriages, giving jobs to people that have no choice but to accept them, and everybody in the community seems to be convinced that the elders are always right and doing the right thing for them. The movie stars Brenton Thwaites as Jonas and Jeff Bridges, Meryl Streep, Alexander Skarsgård, Taylor Swift, Cameron Monaghan, and Odeya Rush as the supporting cast. However, since they hired these actors, they had to raise the age of the characters from 12 in the book to 16 in the movie. I believe was a good choice because it would not be as entertaining of a movie with 12-year-old actors as it was with these actors. A noticeable physical trait on the main character Jonas is the marking on his wrist that none of the other characters had at the beginning of the story. Very quickly, the film rushes right into the initial incident where Jonas is selected to be the receiver of memory, a highly valued job. After being selected for this role, Jonas rides his bike to a secluded house on the edge of the community, which was a much better choice for the movie than a small building in the middle of the community, and was transported memories from the Giver, who happened to have the same wrist marking as Jonas. These memories are about things that happened in the past, before the community had started. However, Jonas begins to get skeptical of how his community was being run, because he loved so many things that he had seen in the memories. So, when Jonas started thinking about this more and more, he wanted to see if the community could change back, and he decides that he wants to do it on his own. As Jonas receives more and more memories and gets more curious about elsewhere, he starts to break rules around the community. He receives warnings from their government, but the chief elder starts to get more worried and pays more attention to Jonas. I think this is another good thing the movie has adapted, because now there is a person as the antagonist instead of groups of people and general things. Shortly after this, Jonas discovers a map of elsewhere when it falls out of one of the Giver's books. This map shows something called the boundary of memory, a circle around elsewhere and their community, which the Giver explains that is, if crossed, releases all of their memories to the community. Jonas's abilities to receive memories is called seeing beyond, and at this point in the movie, the Giver wants to teach him the concept of hearing beyond. He shows a hologram of the old receiver in training that had failed, Rosemary, playing the piano, and Jonas is taught hearing beyond. I do not like this adaptation because it is meaningless and they were just trying to add screen time and insert another big name actor, Taylor Swift. By adding this to the movie, it did not contribute to the plot at all, and it was just an extra unnecessary scene in this film. Jonas continues to receive more memories and get more frustrated with his own community. He decides to fight with Asher, who had decided to work for the chief elder to stop Jonas's rebellion against this community. I don't like that Asher is involved because it is unnecessary and not very interesting. They could have easily had a lengthier police chase and made it more exciting than a small altercation with Asher in front of his house. After this section of drama, the climax sets in an extremely similar way as the novel. Jonas explains to the Giver about his dad performing releases, and the Giver shows a recording of what actually happens during a release. This is the last straw for Jonas, and give everybody back the memories that people had in the past, and executes his escape during the night, even though the government can watch him through their many cameras surrounding the community. The security speeds after Jonas, hardly makes it off the edge of their island into the deserted land of elsewhere. This was a great decision to insert in the movie because it was much more exciting than watching him sneak out of the community with no competition. He then treks through the various terrains with no problems other than Asher still working with the chief elder and having another conflict with him. But this does not stop Jonas. He soon encounters the barrier of memory that he hesitantly crosses to complete his mission and give people back their memories. However, he encounters the same house as described in the book, and the movie soon ends. I do not like how they showed even this little bit of the view of the house, because it kind of dismisses the argument between whether they die or not, because he obviously looks like he is still alive, and he sounds normal, as well as having no hints at him and Gabriel being dead. So it is made clear to me that he is alive in the movie. In conclusion, I believe that this is a good but not great movie, and with the constant new details, it keeps the audience interested for the exciting plot sequence that stayed at a peak for almost the whole second portion of the movie. Overall, I would give this movie a 6 out of 10 because I did not like the black and white feature near the beginning of the film, as well as other adaptations that made the movie worse, as explained before. However, it had very enjoyable plotline from beginning to end. Thank you for watching.